beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the pumpkin patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel I believe that we have the most autumnal, cozy corner of the internet. So if you like the way that I read, if it resonates, if you like my vibe, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the pumpkin patch. So today we are going to be looking at 2022 and what themes we can pull out for your year. And I'm very excited about this. I feel like the last couple of years have been really interesting, I think, for the collective in general. And I mean, 2022, look at all those synchronicity numbers. Obviously, there's a 0 in there, but 222. I just feel like something magical is about to unfold, and I'm really excited to get into this to see what themes we have for you. But before we jump in, I'm so pleased to announce that today's video is actually sponsored by Keen. So thank you so much to Keen for sponsoring this video. Many of you know and probably recognize this sponsor. They've worked with us before, we've worked with them before, and as many of you know, if you've been here a while, I do not take a lot of sponsorships. I'm very selective and I'm very picky with the companies that I work with. And I don't ever talk about anybody that I haven't fully sussed out myself. And I have a really cool story to actually share with you, like a huge full circle moment with using Keen in 2020 and how I finally saw it come full circle this year. So stick around for my story. But first, I just want to tell you a little bit about Keen if you are unfamiliar. So Keen is an online psychic service with psychic advisors, and they are all vetted psychics as well. And they provide basically insight to your life's daily challenges, clarity in love, relationships, career, and so much more. Keen's advisors are available to you 24/7. There's always someone online, and you can always easily schedule a call with someone. And as a Keen customer, brand new, you can actually get your first 10 minutes for $1.99 using my link trykeen.com/KhloeTarot. Pricing then is going to depend on the advisor you choose, and the services are backed with a satisfaction guarantee. So I will have my link for you on the screen here, also down below in the description and in the top pinned comment. So please use that if you're wanting to try Keen, and I highly recommend. Like I said, I'll share my story with you in just a moment. So Keen is also a the most, I would say, affordable way to meet new advisors. When you find the right advisor, developing an ongoing relationship leads to a number of benefits: monthly intention setting, gaining clarity on significance of synchronicities, chakra clearing, and in my case, I got a huge clarity on my next steps in life that were actually really major. So huge on clarity if you're feeling lost and confused in any way. And each week, Keen also sends its users discounts on readings, and this makes Keen one of the most affordable ways to receive multiple readings. If you're a current Keen user, make sure you check your email to see this week's discounts. So I want to share with you basically what my kind of story is with this. I haven't shared this yet because I was going to do it in a long form sit down talk video, just kind of where my life has changed and maybe do a little update vlog situation. And I still might do that in the future for the channel if any of you want to see that. But basically in 2020, October 2020, so not this past October, but the previous October, I actually just reached out to the original psychic that I spoke to on Keen, and I just told them thank you for the guidance that they provided me with, because back then, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit choked up. Back then, I was really lost and really confused. And of course, I have a lot of tools on guiding myself and guiding others, but I was feeling very lost on what my next big steps were. I felt like living where I was, it didn't feel good anymore. And I knew that I wanted to go somewhere else, but I felt so I just didn't know what direction to go towards. I had ideas about where I wanted to move and what direction I wanted to take my life in, but I just didn't feel certain with any sense of certainty. And I reached out to this psychic on Keen, and she told me that number one, and mind you, both of these things were not on my radar that I'm going to tell you about. Both of the things that she mentioned to me were things that hadn't even really crossed my mind. I originally thought that I was going to move to Oregon, and I don't know what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. Obviously, still here making content because I had no intention and still don't of leaving this, but I just, I felt like there was something missing. And I felt like where I was currently living was just like not where I was supposed to be. And this psychic told me that I would move to Washington, the Pacific Northwest, Washington, which Washington was somewhere I did not want to move. Originally, I said, no, I'm moving to Oregon. I don't want to move to Washington. I didn't have like a good reason. I just was so dead set on moving to Oregon. And if you've been around my channel for even just the last couple of months, I just moved to Washington State in October of this year. So that was crazy because it wasn't something that was pre-planned. It happened very quickly at like the summertime-ish into the fall of this year. And she also told me that I would get into naturopathic medicine. And again, this is something that hadn't even crossed my mind. And around this same time that I moved, I started getting really into naturopathic medicine. I see a naturopath now, and I'm really into like balancing hormones naturally and stuff like that. That works for me. I'm just speaking for myself. And I thought about this very recently when Keen reached out to me. I had forgotten about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that psychic was totally right. Like she said things to me that were not even in my realm at the time. And that is exactly what has happened. And so it just totally blew me out of the water. Like I said, I sent her a message today just to tell her thank you and that her guidance was so appreciated. So I just wanted to give you that example so that, like I said, I genuinely love this service. I use it myself, and I've received crazy insights on my life that I couldn't see for myself at the time. So I hope you'll give it a try. And not only that, the setup process is so incredibly easy. I almost forgot to mention it, but it's so incredibly easy. I'm showing you here on the screen how to do it. Trust me when I tell you I am a Taurus sun. Yes, I know how to work hard, but I also know how to be incredibly lazy. And if it was hard, I would not be trying to do it. So it's super easy. You can do it on desktop or mobile. I'm going to show you both right here how to do it. There are different options of what kinds of guidance you would like to receive. And again, it's on like anything you could ever want to ask about, you can ask there and you're going to be able to connect with somebody. So I hope you'll give it a try and you'll have some incredible experiences, hopefully to share with others, maybe in the comments, or if you have any experiences, I'd love to hear about them. So definitely give Keen a try. And once again, thank you so much, Keen, for sponsoring today's video. All right, so to differentiate these for you in case you're having a hard time choosing, I'm going to go ahead and put these crystals onto these cards. So pile number 1, you are going to be right here with a carnelian. Pile number 2, you are going to be right here with the rose quartz. And pile number 3, you are going to have this beautiful piece of Lemurian clear quartz. So I'm going to go ahead and turn up the meditation music for you, give you some time to make a selection with these cards, and then we'll get into your 2022 themes. Thank you again to Keen for sponsoring today's video. right, pile number one, if you chose the carnelian, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to start out with themes and then we'll get into other tarot cards, other oracle cards for your year. But right off the bat, looking at themes for you, this is really going to be such an incredible year for you because we have new beginnings, lightening your load, protection, travel, and empowerment. And I feel like every single one of these cards, now this is, like I said, your theme throughout 2022. So it's not going to be conducive just to January or February or March. This is an overview. Like if we got to December 31st of 2022, this would be you looking almost back at the year and what you could pull out from the year. So new beginnings. Number one, I think that this is going to be the year where you are really going through a full reset of yourself. And I say that because we also have protection and travel here. Protection to me says that it's also a really great time for you to, number one, be upping your protection this year, just in general, but also that you are going to be protected and feel as if you have the ability to be open to a new beginning. Because I think in the past, maybe it didn't feel safe to have this new beginning that's coming into your life this year. But for you, you're going to feel very protected, especially in travel as well. But I think this also has a lot to do with becoming your most authentic self. And that is something I think that everybody, at least in my community, can say that we strive for here. But with self-empowerment, I feel like a lot of these things actually are very linked to the protection card. Like you are being given protection to empower yourself, to bring yourself more forward, more open, more out there. Protection in the form of if you're doing any kind of traveling in 2022, it's safe for you to do it. And with lightening your load, I think those of you that chose this pile might even resonate with the term workaholic. Like maybe you do a lot of work and there isn't a lot of balance in terms of doing good things for yourself, traveling, taking time away, or just having natural balance with the way that you function as a human. Maybe when you take time off, like that's really stressful for you. And I feel like for you, this is the new beginning that is being created. It's also about things that feel very heavy being lifted. I mean, for 2022, we also have the nodes of the moon being shifted into Taurus and Scorpio, where they were previously in Sagittarius and Gemini. So if you're into astrology, I would also look to where those signs are in your charts to see what is going to get an increase and what is going to be decreasing. Because as an increase, this would be wherever, like the North Node on Taurus, wherever Taurus falls into your chart, that is going to be getting an increase. And wherever Scorpio falls in your chart, this will be getting like a decrease or a volume turned down a little bit. So look to those things if you're into astrology. Like I said, you can also look for charts as well. And I want to say even Keen, our sponsor today, has I want to say in their section, they have a section that like you can click astrology as well. So I know that there are so many places to get charts done, but looking to your birth chart for this year, I think could really give you some more ideas on what to expect. But ultimately, I think this is really going to be like I'm hearing the words becoming, you becoming more of yourself versus carrying everybody else's problems or what everybody else puts on you. You're finally coming to a place where you're able to stand very tall in your ideals, in your beliefs, and feel protected enough to do it and not shrink back. So we also have for you the card, the Ace of Cups. And all these decks that I use today will also be linked down below for you. We have Temperance. We have the Four of Swords and the Five of Swords. Interesting. So I feel like with the Ace of Cups, this tells me the Ace of Cups and Temperance, this is about you creating, again, that divine balance in your life. And the Ace of Cups is also about filling your cup all the way up before you start distributing your energy to other people. And this is like something that I think in today's modern society, we definitely don't do as much of this as we should. I think one of the best ways I ever heard this described to me was actually from a therapist. And I think I've also heard it on TikTok. But basically, the idea that our cup pours into others, you actually should imagine filling your cup as two cups, in the sense that you have one big cup and then you have a smaller, tinier cup that can catch the overflow. And basically, you don't pour from your vessel, from your cup into other people. You always want that to be full and feeling really good. You want to take that tiny cup that has the overflow in it and actually pour from the overflow cup into other people, if we're looking at this metaphorically. And that is going to give you like the best life balance in being with others, helping others, and giving to others. And I think this is the year where you're finally understanding that divine, intricate balance, and it's flowing really well through you. With the Four of Swords and the Five of Swords, again, I don't know why the word workaholic keeps coming out for me in this reading, but I think there is a lot of guilt around you actually taking breaks, because the Four of Swords says rest. And it's not just taking a nap on a random Sunday. The Four of Swords to me is deep rest. It is allowing yourself the space to have deep rest. And if this is your year of prioritizing rest, then awesome. But I do think there is going to be more of a guilty conscience around this. And I also think that with the Five of Swords, there are going to be people in your life this year that are not going to understand. They are not going to agree with the way that you're caring for yourself, or in the ways that you are trying to find this divine balance or this self-empowerment and all of these really good things that are happening for you on an internal level. This is a very internal year for you, I think. And there are going to be people that are going to see this as selfishness or laziness or, nothing that we intend. And I feel like that is going to be the hardest part of you stepping forward into this, because you're going to want to cower back and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't rest. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe there's like this feeling of unworthiness. And ultimately, I feel like what Spirit is directing us towards is actually no. How other people feel about your practices has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And more often than not, people that look at rest and they are upset by it, it's because they themselves don't allow themselves that amount of rest. Have you ever looked at somebody in your household when you're up doing something and you're frustrated that you're doing it because you would like to be resting, and you think to yourself, oh, must be nice to sit on the couch and do blank, blank, blank? That is because we are not giving ourselves the amount of attention, care, and rest that we need. And ultimately, it can come out as jealousy. And I feel like that's what other people really are projecting towards you this year, is they're not giving themselves this same amount of space and grace. So there might be jealousy where they are judging what you're doing, but keep doing what you're doing because it is good for you. Now, we also have the card Release Control with Taurus, release control with the first quarter moon in Taurus. And we also have the first quarter moon in Aries, step into your power. What did I say? I literally said this is like a year for you. We also got self-empowerment, or actually, I think this just says empowerment, but we're here for self-empowerment. And these are both first quarter moons. So this year for you is going to be very like just dipping your toes into this, but it's going to feel familiar and good. Like I actually see this image of you literally dipping your toes into this like perfectly temperatured, like it's almost like a fantasy bath. Like it looks very fantastical. Like it doesn't belong in this plane. But stepping into this very beautiful, like, it's like replenishing your soul and your spirit. Like the waters are literally filled with like everything good that you can give to yourself, but you're just putting like maybe your toes and ankles and calves in. You're not fully submerged yet. And I think that's because this is a new process for you. This is a new way of being. And it's something that maybe you've never tried this approach before. Maybe in the past, when you've tried to like better your situation or your life or find balance, you tried to go at it from changing everything external. It's actually something new that I learned, where when people try to create change, the book Atomic Habits talks about this. And I've also gotten it in like courses that I've studied. But basically, a lot of people try to change themselves from the environmental perspective, which is like when you want to work out, you buy new workout clothes and you buy protein powder or whatever. And really, you should be starting from the opposite end, which is changing the way you actually identify with yourself. So when somebody says, "Oh, do you work out?" You don't say, "Oh, I'm just getting into it," or "I'm just starting." It's, "Yeah, I do work out." It's becoming the identity. And I think that's something that actually might help you during this process is asking yourself the person you want to become and assuming that identity. Now, it doesn't mean you're lying and deceiving people. It's actually bringing you on the faster track to living in the alignment that I think you have desperately been craving. So I think this is going to be really great. Like you're releasing control and letting yourself rest more, and also stepping into a more empowered version of yourself by doing it. We also have for you the card Iolites, which says shift your money mindset. Oh my gosh. And we also got Pyrite, which is let the money flow in. I swear. What the heck? So in terms of finances, this is going to be a great year for finances too. I mean, with the North Node on Taurus this year, Taurus is the ruler of personal finance. So I do feel like depending on where Taurus falls in your charts, this also could be a really good indicator of increase there. But you literally got two money crystals. This is not a money deck that I'm reading with. It's interesting to me that you got two cards like that. But I think where maybe you feel like you have to overperform and not rest, it might be because you feel like there isn't enough financial means for you. And ultimately, Spirit is saying that that's where a lot of the shifting is going to have to happen. Not only are you needing to take better care of yourself to step into this new beginning, your load is getting lightened and, all this great stuff. Maybe even the travel that you're wanting to plan for in 2022 is going to require some savings or some putting of some money away. But I also feel that in terms of finances, this might be the thing that has just been holding you back. This feeling of maybe there isn't enough or lack mindset, or not feeling inspired or energetic enough to create more wealth. And I do feel like for you this year, with especially like these might even be crystals you would want to get for yourself. Pyrite is a really great one for manifesting money into your life. Pyrite is something that I absolutely use in my own money manifesting practice. It's just like a good thing to have. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see a video on techniques for manifesting money, because I have one on my channel, but I have newer techniques even now that I use that I have seen a big difference with. So let me know if you want that video in the future. But when we step into alignment with abundance, money really is a mindset. And I know that that maybe seems ludicrous to think about because money is this like paper physical thing, right? But it really is a mindset. Having abundance and being able to generate it, it's a mindset. And when we get into the flow of and step into it, and I can say this from experience as well. Like, I know what it feels like to be in alignment with abundance and what it feels like to be out of alignment with it. And it happens periodically. Like, it's not something that I feel like I'm constantly in the flow of. I'm still learning myself. But I can tell you that it is different. It feels different because there isn't as much scarcity going on. And money really will materialize just like that. That has happened over and over and over and over again, even in my own experience. But for shifting your mindset, this doesn't have to be like you have to try so hard to do it. It can be as simple as just challenging the thoughts that you have about money. I actually would argue that it's challenging our thoughts that actually brings us the greatest success with these things. It's when you have a thought that generates lack mindset. It's asking yourself, I wonder where that thought is coming from. What have I experienced or what have I witnessed in my life that makes me believe that money is not something that I'm able to just access? Where do these things come from? What experiences have I had? and maybe meditating or journaling on those things can really unlock a lot. And I did this in the past as well in another reading, and a lot of you actually wrote to me on Instagram, and it was really beautiful experience for a lot of you. Writing a letter to money as well for this year. Maybe if you have a lot of hurt feelings around money, or it created a lot of stress in your relationships, write a letter to money and express those things. Let them out somewhere so that you can build a new relationship. And I really do think that your finances are going to be increasing this year, especially getting a Taurus card and 2 money cards. So if money is something you're focused on, I think this is going to be a beautiful new beginning for you. Now, we also have the card, the Turtle, and we also have the Butterfly. And these cards I love, because the Turtle says that slow and steady really does win the race. And so resting really is going to be your best friend this year, because turtle doesn't, they're not fast creatures. They move quite slow. And I think for you, maybe that's an energy that you're not used to inhabiting and receiving the things that you want. You might be somebody that really gets out there and hustles and grinds and goes and goes and goes. And slowing down could feel really scary. But ultimately, it is going to be the thing this year that helps you the most, is asking yourself, am I forcing myself to be here to do this thing? Or am I slowly and lovingly embracing it? Ask yourself in those moments, especially when you feel overwhelmed, and take a step back. This year, also with the butterfly, you really are going through an epic transformation, because butterflies might even be significant to you, or turtles, in the sense that like maybe you have a tattoo, or that's how your spirit guides speak to you, is through showing you images of these. But butterflies, not only are they just like the epic transformer, like, they start as the caterpillar, they literally turn into total goo in the cocoon before they restructure themselves and come out as the butterfly. The thing I always like to remind people that is a little less known about butterflies is that even when they are emerging out of the cocoon, you can't help a butterfly emerge. They have to do it themselves, because if they don't have the wing strength that they build coming out of the cocoon to fly. So I think this is also going to be a very personal journey. And that doesn't mean that you can't get help along the way and get new tools and have people be supportive of you. It's that this really is going to be a personal, internal journey this year. And this might even be the year that you don't do as many social things, because it's the year that you really need to step back for you. Now, I do have some romance cards here as we're starting to approach the end of this reading. If you aren't in a relationship, aren't looking for that, just disregard these cards. But if you are someone that is, I just wanted to make sure I included that in this year, because, I think that those of us that are in relationships or are looking, you want to know how that stuff's going to go. So I do have for you the card Retreats. It's time to disconnect from the world. So this has been a very common theme for your entire reading. We'll talk about it. I'm going to lay the cards down first, and then I'll talk about them with you. We also have give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. And we also have past life relationship. You have known each other before. And I just got the chills when I pulled that card. So with retreat and give your relationship a chance, I feel like if there has been, those of you that are in relationships, if there has been a lull of any kind, make sure that you're still feeding this relationship this year if you are still wanting to remain in it, because I do sense that you're going to be retreating into yourself a lot. And sometimes if our partner is unaware of what's going on, that can kind of drive a wedge. And so it doesn't mean that you have to stress yourself out with meeting their every need. That's not what I'm saying. It's, just making sure that you make time, maybe even whatever you're planning to travel in the next year or so, or whatever travel comes up for you in 2022. This could be a good time to take a retreat with them and take a chance with just them. And with past life relationship, this is somebody that you have known before. This is somebody, they might seem very familiar because you have known them in another life. And those of you that are single and are looking, I also feel like this could be somebody from the past that keeps cropping back up that maybe you do need to give another chance to. Now, those of you, I want to make it very clear, if there is somebody that has been like completely toxic or abusive, I would never condone the behavior of going back to this person. Only you are going to know if that's right for you. Nobody can tell you that. But yourself. But if it is somebody that you're open to another chance and they do come back around this year, this could be you needing to take that chance because it is somebody that is familiar and they're in your life for a reason. So love that. Now, the last three cards I have for you are joy. Make time for the little things today. So this is just really about finding more joy in your day to day. We have relax, again, with the relaxing and the sinking back and the resting. Delight is powdered in golden sunlight. So this might also be making sure you get more sun. Spirit is saying, like, if you can't get a lot of sun where you live, this might be a really great opportunity to get obviously always do what your doctor tells you. I am not a medical professional, nor do I ever condone going to somebody other than a medical professional, but this might be about increasing your vitamin D, or just making sure that you're getting the proper nutrients from the sun. And we also have weed. Don't tolerate less than you deserve. So with weed, maybe you just need some of that in your life, and don't tolerate less than you deserve. Don't tolerate less than you deserve in relationships with others, with yourself. Create this safe space for you to bloom this year, because that's ultimately what is happening for you. And I look forward to hearing about how this year goes for you, pile number one. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Thank you so much to Keen for sponsoring today's video. If you're interested, again, my link is trykeen.com/Kloee Tarot. You get those 10 minutes for $1.99, and I absolutely recommend it. If you would like to support my channel, I do accept tips for my readings, and I do also have a Patreon where you get exclusive readings from me that you don't get here if you want a little extra something for yourself. All of the links for everything will be in the description and in the comment section, and I love you so much, Pumpkin, and I will talk to you again next time. All right, pile number two, welcome in. If you chose the rose quartz crystal, this is going to be your reading. So we have for you some themes, then we're going to read into the tarot cards and some more oracle cards. We have for you forgiveness, talent, closure, courage, and financial health. So I'm going to tell you right now, 2022 is going to be a year where you finally find forgiveness for something in your life that has really loomed over you and has kept you from achieving your dreams. And this might be a forgiving of somebody else, but it also might be just a forgiveness from yourself, or to yourself, because I get the sense, pile number two, that there is something that you have really held on to internally, and it has kept you from expressing yourself to your fullest capacity. And it has also kept you from being able to stabilize your financial well-being. So 2022 is going to be the year where you actually find closure on this, and you forgive yourself for possibly either wasted time, or I would say wasted time is the number one thing that I'm hearing from Spirit, is you maybe feel like you wasted a lot of time on something or someone, or you've wasted a lot of time not going after what you would like to have gone after. And it takes a lot to forgive yourself in that. And I think that's ultimately where a lot of the forgiveness is needing to come from. It also might be that somebody really put you down about a talent that you have, and so you didn't go after it, or you didn't think you were good enough to pursue it. And ultimately, that is another thing that you will want to, you will be forgiving yourself for listening to that person. I think this year you are going to have a lot of courage to step forth on your path to move beyond this, and to actually use your talent to create financial stability and financial health. And I also think that there is going to be deep courage in something that you do that maybe in the past has really scared you. Like for some of you, I'm hearing this could be like public speaking or creating something or dancing or singing, or there's something that you do that you are really, really excellent at, that you have built a talent around that will contribute to your funds in some way that I think you've spent a lot of time telling yourself that you couldn't make money that way. And once you get closure from that, everything is going to unfold this year for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these tarot cards that go along with this. So we have the Chariot, the Ace of Crystals, the King of Cups, and the Six of Cups. There is definitely somebody from your past that, like I said, that was really the sense that I got, is like somebody really put this natural talent that you have down and in a way that made you feel like you shouldn't go after it. And this is what you're having to forgive, because the Six of Cups is a relationship to our past. It's ruminating in the past. And it also could be from like a parental figure. With the King of Cups, I mean, it doesn't have to be mom or dad. It could be both, or a fatherly or motherly figure in your life, or maybe even an ex. I'm hearing is like somebody from the past told you and like really dissolved your self-worth because you believed them. You believed that you were not worthy of doing this thing or having this thing or pushing past your own boundaries to create something beautiful in the world. And because you have believed them, or you believed them at the time, that is what is changing for you this year. And it's literally going to transform your life, pile number 2. I am hearing that this is going to literally transform your life and create closure and forgiveness on a chapter of your life that you have desperately been wanting to close. And with the Ace of Crystals and the Chariot, you are literally going to be unstoppable this year, because the Ace of Crystals is about having a passion and a drive for something to create in particular. Aces are always gifts from the universe, and it is what we do with that energy that gets like to decide what happens. We get to decide. And so your passion is being reignited about your talent. And the Chariot says that you have everything that you need at this time to go down this path and to do what you feel called to be doing this year. You have everything you need. Every opportunity will find its way to you. You just need to start actually doing something with it instead of just thinking about the ways that you could be doing something or ruminating in the past. That's really what I'm hearing. And this is something that is going to create sustainability for you. That is also something I am hearing from Spirit, is the word sustainability. Some of you are afraid that whatever you try to go out on a limb with is not going to actually create financial health for you or sustainability. And you're afraid that even if it does kind of well, it won't do well long term. And Spirit is saying, no, do not let that mindset stop you, because it will actually create sustainability for you. We also have the card of Clear Your Mind with the last quarter moon in Gemini. What did I say? That I think it's definitely thoughts. There are thoughts that have kept you here. And we also have full moon in Scorpio. Breathe through the tension. Ooh, okay. So with last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. Gemini is the ultimate communicator. That's like what they are here to do, is to communicate and to take in knowledge very quickly in like spurts. And they also are like very highly stimulated, or they like not stimulated, but they need a lot of stimulation to keep their mind active. So for you, what's funny that we have this in the last quarter moon, clear your mind. This is really about clearing your mind and purging it of thoughts that are self-destructive or self-sabotaging, that keep us from actually doing things on our path that we feel in alignment to do, that keep us from our courage or our closure, that keep us from actually expressing the talents that we have deep within us. So last quarter moon in Gemini says clear your mind, especially those of you that are in resistance to sitting back and allowing yourself to just, I want to say like just think, like it's almost like you don't give yourself time to just be with yourself and process what you're thinking about. There's a lot of just go and do or like frantically moving through life. And Spirit is ultimately saying if you are in resistance to giving yourself even 15 minutes to just sit and ponder, that is what is missing for you now, that is going to help you this year as you navigate this new landscape for yourself. This new landscape of feeling honestly like you can thrive in your passion. And then with full moon and Scorpio, breathe through the tension. I don't think this year is going to be easy for you. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad year. I want to really make that very clear. It doesn't mean that 2022 is going to be a bad year. I mean, think about it. I think almost every year we go through moments of tension, be it with others or with ourselves. But I think for you, there's going to be a lot more tension because you are in resistance to letting certain things go or to letting yourself be seen. And with the Six of Cups, there is a lot of past conditioning here. There is a lot of past conditioning of putting down of yourself and of your courage and of your power. And where there is tension within you, where there is resistance within you, this is what I mean when I say that you need to start prioritizing time to just be with yourself, to just think through the processes that are going on in your mind. And this could be getting into a meditative practice if that's something you're interested in. I think sometimes like we just need to change the word meditation because I think it is so overused and misunderstood that meditation can happen for you in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be sitting on the top of a mountain in total silence for 4 days. Like, yes, that can be a really gratifying experience and very meditative, but also just shutting yourself in your bedroom for a few minutes and allowing yourself to observe the thoughts that are coming through. That's it. That's all meditation is. It is an observing of thoughts, and you become the observer. So I feel like that is something that is really also going to help you this year when things feel tension like, or you're feeling tension in your body or in your mind or with others. It's okay for you to take a step back and say, you know what? I need 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes, or 15 would be even better. I don't know why I'm hearing 15 specifically. That's the number that keeps coming up. Maybe one of you, like your lucky number is 15, or that might just actually be the amount of time that you need to be spending on this. But there's going to be something for you, answers for you that come through. Maybe even the creativity and the way that you present your talent outwardly is going to come through in these moments of reflection. So don't hesitate to do that, especially those of you that are in resistance to doing it. So breathe through the tension and allow yourself that space. We also have for you the card Angel Aura Quartz, Lighten Up. And we also have Ocean Jasper, Schedule Yourself In. So with those 15 minutes, even if you have to time block that for yourself, do it. Don't hesitate to time block yourself in and let yourself have that time in your day, because it is going to be very important for you this year. And with Lighten Up, I feel like this is also about like a lot of the energy that you are working through with that closure and that forgiveness and finding your courage and yourself and your talents again. It's dense. It's dense energy. It's hard to move through this. And Spirit is ultimately saying that to lighten it up, you have to give yourself that time. This also might manifest in like needing to like shake your body or move your body in any kind of way, not in like a choreographed fashion, but in a way that just feels right. Like if you've ever done like a body scan before, where you just close your eyes and you allow yourself to feel through every part of your body. Like notice your face, notice your ears, notice your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your hands, your fingers. Take that across your body. You can even look up body scan meditations, and I'm sure there are some here on YouTube. I almost guarantee it. But scanning your body for where you might be holding tension, and then just sending love to that, placing your hand over that place or shaking that limb out. If you feel it in your wrist, shake your wrist out. that helps us to release that tension in our body that we're feeling. Because something that we are learning more and more is that we also store trauma in the body. And so if we don't find the means of releasing it and lightening it up, it's going to be a little bit harder. So these tools are coming to you right now to remind you throughout this year as you experience this, you have options of releasing. And with schedule yourself in, like I said, that is just you literally being called to block time out for yourself. Now, we also have the cards for you of Wolf. Let me try to place this in here. Okay, Wolf and then the Frog. So the Wolf card, I almost want to pull the book on this one and see what it has to say. Just the book that came with these cards. I can't say that we've pulled this one before in any of the readings that I've done, so I'm not super familiar with it, but that's okay. No mind. We're just going to pull it up. So this one, oh, this is such a beautiful message for you, pile number 2. So the wolf is all about having a guardian of your family. And so this could actually be like, you might have a very, actually, that's what I'm hearing is you have a protective ancestor that watches over you on this journey. And this journey is so important for you, pile number 2. And I'm feeling tingles around my sacral chakra. So this might be like in the feminine line in your family. But when you actually work through healing these things within you, you're actually healing ancestral trauma. You're healing that familial line that didn't have the tools or the knowledge or the time that you have right now. And this is about upholding your well-being and your health. And it's also about like just being like carving out your own path and not going the path that your ancestors took, going on your own path and walking in your own way. That might seem really bold for where you are right now, but you came here to do that. That's part of your soul mission, is walking your own path and not following in the exact footsteps of your ancestors. They are here clapping for you because you get to do something different that nobody else was brave enough to do. Oh, I have the chills. It's beautiful. And then with the frog is ultimately here to remind us that, number one, I always think about that game Frogger, if any of you are familiar, but it reminds me of basically the ability that we have to leapfrog over obstacles. It doesn't mean that we're not dealing with them, but we can jump over them. We can move past them. I would say moving through them is really the best bet. But the frog also symbolizes healing and clearing. And it also talks to us about being really connected to the earth. I mean, yeah, no, it would be healing. Technically, the frog is earth and water, right? Because it does both. So this is also about getting close to those healing elements this year, getting close to water, grounding with the earth, going on nature walks, and allowing yourself to be healed by Gaia. And this card also talks about forgiving and releasing and time to like dive in. So I actually want to read this passage because I think this actually really goes in line with your reading. It says, the frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within its healing element and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. So you literally got forgiveness and lighten up here, and you got the frog, which talks about both of those things. Lightening up your load and healing yourself, right? Forgiving yourself and again, finding that closure. So this year, I feel like ultimately you are really diving into that. You are diving into your creative purpose, excuse me, your creative purpose, your passion, and forgiveness. Now, I do have a few relationship cards for you for this year. So those of you that are seeking a relationship or you're already in one, these are going to be for you. Those of you that are not interested in that or are not in a relationship, just disregard these next few cards. But we do have the card of engagement. I love it. Your love life is ascending to higher levels of commitment. We have this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner that you seek. And express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. So pile number 2, some of you are taking the next step in your relationship. Those of you that maybe you haven't even met them yet, or you have and you haven't looked at them in that way. But whether you are in a relationship, you are taking something to the next level. So even if you're already married, you might be getting a dog together, getting a house together. You might be having children. There's something that feels very monumentous that is coming into this relationship. Those of you that are single, this is the year where I feel like you're actually meeting the one, and you're going to know because you are going out of your way to make a grand gesture, which maybe that's not typically like you. And there might be an engagement before like the end of the year, or like talk of an engagement maybe early in the next year. So that's a really exciting, I feel like, romantic theme for your year is really committing on a larger scale with a partner, or finding that partner, or looking at somebody that already is in your circle romantically. So beautiful. And then I just have a few last little messages for you, pile number 2. We have hidden depths. You only see the surface, look beyond. We have retreat. Never underestimate the healing power of a quiet moment. And we also have radiance. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. So just a few little extra notes for you. I do feel like if you felt called to pile number 1 at all, they have a link here in this retreat card. Retreat also showed up in pile number 1, but I do feel like this is the year that you're really getting into the depths of yourself, and you're shining because you're actually taking the time to do that work and really push forward on creative endeavors. And I don't think this year is going to be totally tension free, but I think you're going to be all the better for it and for the process that you come into. So that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I hope this reading resonates with you well. Thank you so much to Keen for sponsoring this video. Once again, if you are looking to talk to a psychic, be sure to use my link, trykeen.com/Kloee Tarot. It's going to be linked everywhere down below. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. If you would like to, you can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor, or join the Patreon if you want more readings like this that you can't get anywhere else. They only go to the Patreon. And I do also accept tips for my readings. It's not an expectation, but always appreciated. Everything is going to be linked down below for you. I love you so much, Pumpkin, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the Lemurian Clear Quartz, this is going to be your reading. So your themes for 2022, we have trust, peace, passion, strength, and happiness. And I feel like this is the year that you are going to find peace in trusting your own inner consciousness and your own inner being, and trusting your own decisions, trusting yourself to make decisions for your life that are ultimately in alignment with where you are headed. I also see that 2022 is going to be a year filled with a lot of happiness, because you literally got the happiness card. And I also see that we have a lot of passion coming back to your life, whether it is in the form of a romantic partnership. Passion also comes in just the creative format, or in the having a true lust and a passion for life. And I also see that with peace and strength, I think that you have really had to fight to get to where you are, in the sense that maybe you haven't always had the strength in the past. And I say that, or like to have peace. And I say that because I'm noticing that both of these strength and happiness cards have butterflies depicted in them. And butterflies are always a symbol of deep transformation, because the butterfly has to go from the caterpillar state into a cocoon, literally turns into goo, and then comes out the butterfly. And this is like literally transforming your entire life to become this new version of yourself. And because you've done that, you've been doing the inner work, you've been tending to yourself, maybe even right now, that could be what you're in the middle of. So the New Year's promise for you is that you are going to be having the strength that you've needed to find peace, and trust yourself. And if you've been really unhappy, I feel like this is the year where you really find happiness for life again. And happiness, just like good things are just going to be pouring out for you. So I really like that. Let's go ahead and get some more cards on this so we can kind of clarify some more of it. So we have the card of Judgment, and all these decks I will link down below for you as always. We have Judgment, the Four of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Page of Cups. So I feel like 2022, you are definitely going to be having a lot of opportunity coming your way, but you have what it takes to decide which you would like. I feel like, especially with the Hierophant, this card really comes as us kind of making our own traditions and deciding what it is that we would like to fill our own cup with, what it is that we find beautiful and desirable in life, and then choosing that. The Hierophant often talks about tradition, whether it is just like familial or religious, or it just talks about tradition. And oftentimes when the Hierophant comes up, this is us needing to take tradition in a new direction for ourselves. And it's not necessarily about keeping up a tradition that you've upheld your whole life. I mean, sometimes it can be that it might even be like the passing of a torch this year in 2022. Like, for instance, it could be that somebody in your family always hosted. I don't know why I'm hearing this specifically from Spirit, but like somebody in your family always hosted all of the family events, and that torch is being passed to you this year to do all of the like family events and such. And Spirit is saying not to be scared of this. If this is you that I'm talking to, like if it's, like I said, this message right here is very specific, but if I'm talking to you directly and this is resonating for you, this part of the message, it's okay for you to not do everything exactly the way that it was given to you. It's okay to decide to take some of those things on, but not all of them, and do things in a new and creative way. We don't have to keep things so specific down to a T. Now, for 2022 with the Page of Cups, I love the Page of Cups as coming out as your year, because this is the card about romanticizing life. This is seeing life through rose-colored glasses, which sometimes we could say that that is negative, like we're not seeing things for the reality that they are. But I think in this case, as you are really deciding on new opportunities that are coming your way, making your own tradition, finding happiness in your life, I think it's because you are actually coming at things from a new mental perspective. You have really taken a long look at your own life over this last year in 2020 and have asked yourself what it is, again, that you find desirable in life, and you have decided to make that the focus. And like I said, I don't think that this is something that has been easy for you. Interestingly enough, if there have been any naysayers in your life about like your traditions, especially your religious traditions, I'm hearing in 2022, more people in your life are actually going to be looking towards you and what you're doing, because you're going to have this really healthy glow about you. Spirit is saying that those of you that are struggling with skin, like acne, things like that, 2022, your skin is going to be healing because you have done so much internal healing, or you will be this year. If if you haven't already started this process, your skin and your complexion is going to be clearing up. And people are going to notice this glow literally physically from you. They're going to be like, wow, what are they doing? What are they doing that I'm not doing? And they're going to start looking to you for advice. And the Hierophant also can be a leader sometimes, like the leader of others. Same with Judgment. It's rising up as a leader. So whatever you're doing this year in 2022, this coming year, keep doing it because you will gain a following. And that could be as broad as on the internet. Maybe you actually gain a following this year, or it could just be influencing your community or your family members. And I know we can say like, influencing, like, I don't want to influence anybody, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't have to be a negative thing. We can influence people for the better as well, to make decisions for themselves that are in best alignment for them. And that's not about changing people or controlling an outcome. It's maybe they actually needed to see somebody in their community, in their family, in their internet circle, whatever it might be, thriving so that they could even think to ask you what it is that you're doing. So I think you're creating this really beautiful, delicate balance and dance. Sorry, that came out weird. Balance and dance with the universe this next year. And it's literally going to be such a beautiful strengthening period, as well as trusting yourself to know what path you are walking and to walk it, which I love that. So much so, like I said, that people are going to be asking you what you're doing. Now we also have for you, I literally just said, I'm blowing myself away right now. I just said that you were rising up as a leader. You just got the new moon in Capricorn, step up and lead. Oh my goddess. Okay. We also have Pisces last quarter moon, talk less, feel more. So that's actually, let's talk about this first and we'll talk about the leadership. So with last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. I think something challenging for you in 2020 is actually going to be not moving the goalpost, meaning you're going to be accomplishing things, seeing good things unfolding in your life, and it's going to be really hard for you to not want to say, okay, I did this thing, let's move the goalpost, what on to the next? And Spirit is ultimately saying, you need to talk less about the things that you're doing and creating and feel into the things that you've done more. Like, even if you look back on your life 5 years ago from where you are right now, look at how far you've come. Look at all that you've done and like pat yourself on the back. That stuff's not easy and you've already come such a long way. And I feel like in 2022, you're being asked to feel the happiness deeper, to feel that romanticism in your life, to feel that peace, and to not just get up and run away from it, or to keep running, or to keep moving. This is really about allowing and opening up to feeling all of these good things that you created. And I'm also hearing from Spirit something about you creating your own calm. Like that might even be a mantra for you that you want to repeat this year is I create my own calm. And also I am in alignment with my purpose. That's something else that I feel like maybe you have wanted to come into alignment with. So start using those as mantras, even if you're not quite there yet. With new moon and Capricorn step up and lead, I literally just said to you with the Hierophant and Judgment coming out, I'm getting big leadership quality. Like there is, and it doesn't mean like, I don't believe personally, now take this for what it is. This is me speaking, not just me channeling right this moment. I don't believe that like every leader, maybe some of them, but I don't personally believe that every leader looks at themselves in the mirror and says, oh, I'm going to step up and be a leader today. Most people that find themselves in leadership places, leadership positions, or where they have a following of people in some way that really believe in what this person is doing, they don't even always create it on purpose. Sometimes it just happens. And I feel like for you, this is going to be that. It's going to be this, like, you don't even realize it's happening until it's happened. And Spirit is saying, when it hits you that you are in this leadership position, it's okay for you to step up and lead. I feel like there is this fear of calling yourself a leader. Even when I said influencer earlier, I felt that. I felt it like this influencer. Like, it's okay to be an influencer. In fact, the world needs more people like you with the energy that I'm connecting to as I'm reading this. The world needs more people like you in that field, because you're more connected to divinity, to your highest self, and to getting a broader message across than just asking yourself what you can take from the world. So it's not like a dirty word, and it doesn't, like, you can be an influencer or a leader, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So we also have for you the card Phantom Quartz, Embrace Change, and Chrysocolla, Fresh Start. So I also feel like with Chrysocolla is a crystal that also is really good. I mean, obviously, always seek medical professional attention if you need that. I'm not trying to sit here and say that crystals are just going to make you 1,000% better. Always go with a medical professional's advice. But I have heard and witnessed Chrysocolla actually helping to aid feelings of sadness and depression. Not necessarily curing, but helping those things. And so I feel like if that's you, if you've dealt with a lot of that unhappiness, that sadness, that deep emptiness feeling, Chrysocolla might be a crystal that you want to pick up for yourself. It can help you in drawing in that energy of a fresh start. And with Phantom Quartz, Embrace Change, this crystal ultimately is just saying, like, again, I feel like I'm really getting this energy of feeling scared to step up, and it's okay for you to embrace the dynamic changes that are coming. And in 2022, you're going to be put in that position to embrace that change, but again, you're going to be ready for it. It's not going to be this huge, scary, monumentous thing, because it's going to build upon itself. And when it happens, it's like you're literally just going to walk into it. And that's really the energy I'm getting, is it's not this like, oh my gosh, everybody's in danger, I have to step up and lead like we see in the movies. It's going to be oh, I've already been leading and I just didn't realize it. Let me actually own that title. You feel me? So we also have for you the card of the Scorpion, which I would like to read this one out of the book. And we also have the Beaver. I do feel like both of these cards really give me, right off the bat, without looking at the book, they give me a sense of, do I want to say like, well, I was going to say with Beaver, like building something and like community, right? But then Scorpion is definitely like, it's an intricate balance. You know what? Let's go ahead and look at the book first but definitely I feel like building something with Beaver for sure. But let's go ahead and see. I'm just using the book that actually comes with this deck. So, Beaver says this is about hard work, loyalty, working tirelessly, basically, and family first. The Beaver personality is a welcomed sight. These good-natured and dependable creatures have infinite love and enthusiasm for family and express it by way of the earth element, providing a home and financial stability. Although a beaver doesn't usually initiate a project, once started, they'll work steadily for weeks. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not necessarily even initiating something. It's this energy of walking into it and like, you're like, oh, I am here, so I'm going to keep going. Months or years to see it through. The Beaver card appears when the task at hand requires your long-term steady effort. It can also signify that it's time for some karma yoga, selfless service. When in balance, happy, meaningful work. When out of balance, feels useless or worn out. So I do feel like, again, that is about building something. I want to look at the other one first before we really decipher here. Scorpion. Passionate, competitive, and tends toward isolation. Okay, so there is definitely a conflicting energy here. And that was mainly what I was picking up on, is they conflict. There's this, Beaver says, I want to be in a community. I want to work with others. I want to be part of the whole. Where Scorpion says, I want to be separate. I want to be on my own. And I think that this is honestly the energy that maybe you have been fighting, and you're going to continue to see this dynamic play out in 2022. In the sense that you do want that individuation, that individuality, And maybe you really thrive when you are by yourself. You create like your best work. But in order to get that work out there, you also have to be part of the whole. And that can be hard and scary sometimes. But with Scorpion here, let's read it. It says, the Scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a solution where they were left feeling burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to usual. So I also feel like if there is something that has been festering for you in your life, 2022 is like, this is the sign for you in 2022 to either let it go or resolve it. There's definitely something that has been weighing over you. And I feel like this has been a common theme today in everybody's 2022. And it doesn't surprise me because we do have the North and South node moving in to Scorpio and Taurus. And Scorpio definitely is that, the Scorpion, right? That is that like isolated energy that can be a little bit intense sometimes. And I do feel like when it comes to Taurus, though they are the same, I know that might be hard to believe, they are the same, but Scorpio and Taurus, they play out differently because they are in different elements. Taurus is an earth sign where Scorpio is a water sign. And I do feel like when it comes to Scorpio, they can be a little more isolated. Taurus is isolated, but not in the same way. They prefer to just be like cozy, comfy, but they can do it with other people. And Scorpio can too, but it tends to be a lot more intimate. So I do feel like there's going to be a balance that needs to be looked at this year, this coming year for you, where you need to figure out in your life how you can be part of the whole, but you can also be separate and individuate yourself without getting so caught up in competition. So I do have a few relationship cards for you here, pile number 3, just to kind of get a peek at what your love life is going to be like. And these cards are only for those of you that are seeking a relationship or are currently in one. So if that's not where you are right now, then just disregard this little chunk of the reading. But we have for you codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. True love. This is the romance of a lifetime. And heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. So for some of you, this is actually going to be healing your love life this year. This coming year, you're going to be maybe even seeking a therapist or seeking an intimacy coach or seeking some kind of healthy practice that is going to help you to overcome codependency. And I'm not the expert on codependency. I'll be the first person to tell you that. Like, I'm not a therapist or a trained professional. I've read a few books that have really opened my mind to a lot of things, but codependency, I feel like, is a lot more common than we think. And almost all of us, I would argue, have some codependent habits, and it's nothing to be ashamed of or looked down of. It's something to be worked on and something to question where those beliefs came from. Most of us get them from parental figures in our life, where we saw our earliest relationships, right? Wherever we witnessed that, those early relationships between parents or other people's relationships. I want to reiterate that it's nothing to be ashamed of, though. I myself struggle with codependent habits. Like, it's not something that is just this doom and gloom thing that you're never going to be removed from. It's something that we just ask ourselves to be a little bit more conscious in our romantic relationships of it and how we can improve. And I do feel like you have a very strong and solid relationship if you are in a romantic partnership right now. And this relationship is worth going in and doing that work with your partner. And those of you that are single, I would say this might not be the year that you are going to find that one true person, because you have to get to a place. And I want to be very careful with how I word this as well, because I think that there's a lot to be said. You know, I do believe that we have to love ourselves in order to let somebody fully love us. But that doesn't mean that in order to let people love us, we have to fully know how to love ourselves. Because sometimes our greatest healing with loving ourselves comes in the container of a relationship. And I can speak on that from my own experience. I did not know how to love myself in my own relationship. And I've been in a beautiful, wonderful partnership, married to a wonderful person. We've been together for like 14 years. And this relationship has been the container that has allowed me to find that place where I can love myself. So you don't have to not let anybody in to find love for yourself, but it is imperative, whether it is in the container of that relationship or on your own, that you find that love for yourself, because that is how you will deepen connections with other people. And again, I'm not saying that you can't let somebody else love you, because I think that is a mistake. And we as a society should not be telling people that nobody's going to love you if you can't love yourself, because that just leaves people feeling alone and not trying anymore to connect with others. And that totally misses the mark and the point. The point is to love yourself enough to not tolerate less than you deserve. And so for those of you that are single, I really feel like this is the call to, you might meet somebody this year, especially with that true love card. But I think something to remind yourself is it's time to have the heart-to-heart conversations with yourself. It's time to remember that you are your one true love, that you are whole and complete on your own first. And to address maybe where you haven't allowed yourself to have those feelings about yourself and why. So these last 3 cards I have for y'all are just some little extra, a little extra sprinkle here at the end. We have present. Journey into the garden to escape the two eternities, the past and the future. We have rest, slow down. You don't have to solve everything today. And we have for you dream. Have a cup of tea in the garden and find yourself in a good book. So this is also about finding your presence this year, finding your ability to dream big and to also go for it, but also rest. I feel like that's been a very common theme for 2022. In every pile, rest played a very key role. So I feel like those of you that have been feeling burnt out, this 2022 is going to provide you with a little more rest. And I think that's going to be a beautiful thing. But that is what I have for you, pile number 3. Please do not forget to check out Keen at trykeen.com/Kloee Tarot. Again, that link is going to be down below for you, as well as in the top pinned comments. You get those first 10 minutes for $1.99 if you sign up. And it really is such a magical experience to speak to a psychic and get those answers. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, or actually Instagram and TikTok. I did recently open my Twitter again, but I don't really use it. And then if you would like to tip me for my readings, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, all listed down below, as well as my Patreon. If you would like to get some extra readings for yourself, we do weekly energy. We do exclusive readings there that you can't get anywhere else, and it helps support my channel here. So if you would like to join, I would certainly appreciate having you. But until next time, my pumpkin, I love you so much, and I hope this year is going to be a good one. I have some good feelings about it. I also just wanted to say an extra special thank you to Keen for sponsoring today's video.